Guys, we have so much news to go over today. I want you guys to really stay tuned for the game sales, as I think there's a major screw up in the Stadia store, and I'm hoping you guys take advantage of it. Plus, these are some of the best sales I've ever seen, so we have lots to cover there. We'll also cover some new games coming to Stadia and just a lot more random news. As always, subscribe and thumbs up so you guys are always up to date with all Stadia news. With that, guys, let's get with the announcements of a couple of games, and we have a new game on the Stadia store as well. First, we had heard about Elemental War some time ago. It's now officially headed to Stadia on May 6th. It's a tower defense title. Then we have Lumo the Master Chronicle. This is actually getting a delay. It was supposed to come a bit sooner, but now it's coming on May 1st. And I don't think this is going to be a Stadia Pro title, but it very well could be. It's a very vast 3D puzzle title. Finally, the game that released earlier this week on the Stadia store is Trivial Pursuit. Now, if you have Ubisoft Plus, it comes with your subscription. Otherwise, the game comes in at a cool $20. And well, I feel you can see what the game's all about in the trailer here. And of course, there's multiplayer as well. I have to say though, even though these games, some of those games that were announced for May, there's some good ones coming in April as well. So April's actually starting to shape up to be a pretty good month in regards to game releases for Stadia. Stay tuned, as the video on that will be coming up here soon. With that, guys, if you haven't seen the Stadia store, Rainbow Six Siege is available to play for free for a whole week. It's not just a weekend. And the cool thing about this is I personally can play this on an account that doesn't have Stadia Pro or has never bought a game completely free. And I think a console free to play in the cloud is extremely amazing. The game itself is still extremely popular. It's always an impressive title. The only thing I don't see though is a sale attached to this. But either way, if you don't own the game, you get a whole week to really dive into this one. But speaking of Ubisoft, the game we are all anticipating this year in Defiance is now available to sign up for beta with Stadia, even Luna if you're interested. Now, hopefully we do get to test out this game with Stadia and see how it's running on the platform. Rarely do we get early access beta drops, but hopefully this is a good sign here. And if you guys want to do this yourself, I'll go ahead and have a link below. The game is honestly a lot of fun, and I actually got to play test it, I think on the PC, and it was really an awesome game. It's going to be a great free-to-play addition to the Stadia library when it comes out sometime this year. So if you guys remember, earlier this week with all the Stadia news from the Google for Games Summit, one thing was made pretty clear, and that was free access to Stadia was going to be a key point in all of it in the future. And one thing they did highlight was game demos. Well, I wanted to showcase the games you guys can play for free, completely untethered. Some of these have different timers, but I thought I'd showcase them either way. Risk of Rain 2 was a game that was just given access to this earlier this week. Paw Patrol the Movie Adventure is one I didn't even know about, and it has its own free trial. One that has 2 hours though is Yeast 9 Monstrum Nox, and I think that's pretty impressive. And then another game here, MotoGP 21, being free for 60 minutes. This is also a new addition to this, so overall really good stuff. Hopefully more developers continue to opt into this going forward, and I think it's a great marketing tool for your game, period. Not just on Stadia, but market this on your own website and social feeds. People can just make the decision to buy this on Stadia or other platform of choice after testing it out, just completely free with no download. So love this idea. Hope to see it expand in the future with more games. With that, guys, let's touch on some game sales. And man, we have a lot of them here, but there is one game sale, guys, to rule them all. I don't usually say the game sale of the week at the start of this, but I have to here, because I think this is a store error and I want you guys to take full advantage. Rainbow Six Extraction Deluxe Edition, guys. The Deluxe Edition comes in at $12.49, and I think this is an absolute steal. Now, the base game is on sale for $25.99, so that's over double the price. If you guys haven't checked out this game, I have a review on it on the channel. It's an excellent title with tons of content to dive into. So far, one of the best games to drop on Stadia in 2022. Then it being the Deluxe Edition being so cheap is really just the cherry on top, and I truly do think it's an error, but if it's not, go ahead and buy this ASAP. Anyways, I doubt it'll ever get any cheaper than this, even on a Black Friday sale. Also, I want to point out quickly, I did some research, guys, and I can't find the exact game sale on any other platform. This is just a Stadia sale, so yeah, I think this is definitely an error. Keep in mind though too, guys, any sales and games that I recommend to you guys, you have a 2-hour refund window. So if you don't like what you're playing off of my review or my recommendation, Stadia refunds, no questions asked. So I want you to keep that in mind as I go through the rest of these sales. And with that, let's go ahead, and I'm only going to highlight what I truly think is worth it, because there's a ton of sales in that store right now. Control Ultimate Edition comes in at a cool price of $11.99. It's also available via Stadia Pro, but if you don't have Pro, I think that's a great price. Dirt 5 comes in at $11.99. This has now full crossplay, and really for almost $10, you can't really go wrong here. My other favorite racer in F1 2020 is $11.99, and it's pretty much a full sim-like racer. So if you want something not as arcadey, much more serious, this would be up your alley. FIFA 22 remains at a low price of $16.79. I wanted to highlight this again because it just remains to be an awesome next-gen version of FIFA, and it's just great. Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light and Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris are both under $3. I like to highlight these games that are this cheap because it's really just a cup of coffee these days, so why not? Madden 22 comes in at $16.79, and honestly, I don't see this getting any cheaper, so don't hesitate to pull the trigger if you were interested in this one. Another great sale here, and I think the cheapest I've ever seen it, or it's been this cheap before, but it doesn't get any cheaper. Octopath Traveler. This was my go-to game this past winter. I poured about good 20 hours, maybe a little more than that, and I wasn't even close to done with it. It's got really great stories. It's a story-based RPG, and on the outside, the game doesn't look like much, but trust me, it's a great Square Enix title, and you'll be hooked. Rayman Legends. This is a bit of a steal, and it's up there in my game sales of the week. It's at a sweet $4.99 price. You cannot go wrong with really one of the best platformers ever, and it's now available there on Stadia with this awesome sale. Now, a game that I've never featured on a sales video, Terraria, is only $4.99. Super awesome price for really pretty much one of the best indie games of all time. I mean, this game has consumed millions of hours from people, if not a billion. It's truly that good. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order continues to just be $10. Another Tomb Raider game here is at $2.99, and I mean, my goodness, these are just so cheap. Trials Rising is at $5.99. That is the cheapest I've ever seen it on Stadia, and there was a couple of other Ubisoft games that I thought were really good to add to this list, and I just won't list the price because they pretty much have been these cheap sale prices many times before. Division 2, Watch Dogs Legion, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint are still at the lowest prices they've been on Stadia in the past. So if you were interested in those and you still haven't pulled the trigger by now, or you don't have Ubisoft Plus, go check those out as well. Keep in mind, guys, and I want you to remember this, that 2-hour refund policy is in place. Go ahead, buy with confidence, enjoy these game sales, enjoy these awesome titles, and man, oh man, I'm jealous because I think I've played all these games for so many hours. Everything I've listed on this list. So a lot of good recommendations. With that, guys, click the video on the top left for a summary of the huge Stadia news that dropped earlier this week. I'm Sunny, and as always, I'll see you guys in the clouds.